The Bolshatio Barask is one of the highest win rate tanks in the game. In fact, it is the highest win rate medium right now, even beating out the Chimera. Why? Well, it's pretty easy to understand. It features a double shot gun, which has decent DPM, dispersion, and incredible damage per shot. 320 damage with a 2-second interclip. So that means in 2 seconds you can deal 640 damage. You deal more damage than tank destroyers, faster than tank destroyers, with more hit points, maneuverability, and overall capabilities, and it's very easy to understand why this tank is so strong. The Braska is just incredible. As I've always said on the channel, double shot tanks are basically the advantage of having an autoloader without the disadvantage of the long reload times. Usually you just back into cover, you reload, and by the time somebody pushes you, you're already halfway through your clip or just ready to dump them again. So the Braska is incredible, and in my opinion is an overpowered tank. But in today's video, we are not playing in the Braska. We are playing in, well, it is a British tank, but I keep forgetting that it's not technically British. It's a Blitz Nation vehicle, the Silencer. Now, at first glance, this just looks like a legendary skin for the Charioteer, but trust me, it is not. Making our way over to the statistics of the Silencer, we can see this vehicle features 2,250 DPMs. That's 400 more than the Braska. The Braska has 0.344 dispersion. This vehicle's got 0.313. So it's more accurate, more DPM, with, also, more pen, 225 on the standard, 280 on the gold, 310 damage per shot with a 2.5 second interclip. So a slightly longer interclip for 10 less alpha at a tier lower. This tank goes 50 kilometers per hour, 15 in reverse, and it features 7 degrees of gun depression, which is actually one more than the Braska. The Silencer is completely overpowered. It basically does the same damage as a Smasher, with more accuracy, more mobility, and more DPM on a tank destroyer. Now, that's not to say that everything's OP. I mean, sure, it doesn't have the high explosive capabilities that a Smasher does, but in a skilled player's hands, or even a decent player's hands, the Silencer is one of the most formidable opponents to go up against. I cannot tell you how annoying it is when I play Tier 7 or even Tier 6 to make a video and I run into one of these, because they just go bam, bam, and you're like, wow, that hurt a lot. I mean, a Tier 6 tank only has about 1,000 health if you're looking at mediums, so this vehicle in about 2.5 seconds can take off 60% of your health. Like, what? Yeah, it's kind of insane. So here we are in our first battle, and you will notice that there are a lot of Silencers being played. It's not surprising to me, as I did mention just before, it's an overpowered tank, so it's quite common to run into these vehicles, especially because this tank is absolutely free. You can get it in the Season Pass, and the Tier 7 vehicle is always free. I mean, sure, people that are watching this video months down the line, you missed your opportunity to get your hands on the vehicle. But that's not really Wargaming's fault. It's your fault for not really playing the game, so I don't know what to say. But usually season tanks do come back every now and then, but they usually come back for gold, so that is something to keep in mind. We're going to start off this battle by capping the base. A lot of times I play in Supremacy, base cap is a problem, and especially in the lower tier battles, it's more of an issue than the higher tier ones, so I do like to cap the bases early game, just so that I don't need to worry all too much. We got our Tug making his way through. We got a Cromwell off to the side, and it doesn't appear that anybody's in mid, so what I'm thinking is I'm going to poke this ramp here, and ideally, oh yeah, there you go, nice shot into the enemy SU-152, and we don't get the second shell out, but that's fine with me. I don't want to lose, and you saw he fired HE at me, I don't want to lose all of my health to an SU-152. It's not one of those tanks I really want to run into. And the SU does actually have a fairly effective DPM value, but not anymore, he's dead. Alright, let's move up. Let's, oh yeah, our teammate is not very healthy. That's why I didn't want to poke the SU-152. While this vehicle does have a lot of capabilities, at the end of the day, it's a lightly armored tank destroyer. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be down a lot of your health. We missed that shell. We do have the M6 off to our side. Okay, you know what I do have to say? While this vehicle may feature very good dispersion when aimed in, wow, is this thing inaccurate on paper? Like, holy, or not paper, but just when you don't aim it in, this thing is really inaccurate. Alright, well, we got the Skoda PJS, and there you go. Well, that made up for it, I'll tell you that. Let's back up, maybe we can get a shell into the Silencer, or something like that. We had the M6 over here, and there you go. Nice shot into the M6. We're going to reload our clip, so while we're doing that, let's just maneuver out of the situation we're currently in, and we'll see if we can get a little bit more damage out. Got the M6 off to the side, and there's one shell into the M6. 2 shells into the M6, and there you go, that's 600 HP. And because I've already done so much to his tank, I'd much rather shoot at the Tiger, especially because we had a teammate finish him off. So let's reload. We got 3 seconds left. We're going to pull around the corner here. Hello, Mr. Tiger. There's 1 shell into your vehicle for 312, and 2 shells. Plus, we shot him in the engine twice, or the fuel tank, so we lit him on fire. Funny enough, our Dicker Max also got lit on fire. Not a great situation for him, but yeah, I really can't complain. This first battle was a pretty easy steamroll, and while our gun did troll us a little bit, once we let it aim in, it wasn't really an issue at all. I guess I just have to realize that this tank has very poor aiming time and on-movement dispersion values, but 2,900 damage, pretty easy stuff, and, I mean, the tank is just stupid. You saw that firsthand here. You just get away with whatever you want, in especially the tier 7 and 6 matches where not much alpha really hurts you. I mean, yeah, the SG-152, as I mentioned, is a big threat. But apart from that, there really wasn't anything on the enemy team that scared me. And even when you deal with a smasher, if you see the tank shoot, you just poke and go bam, bam, right into his track wheel. And that takes down half of its health. Well, another solid matchup, tier 6s and tier 7s. The great thing about tank destroyers, though, is that you don't really have to worry when you fight higher tier tanks, because you can just stay a little bit more passive, use your higher level of penetration, which this tank has, and butter through your opponents at a distance. But when you're in a top tier matchup like this, you can really get away with playing this vehicle aggressive. That's where I enjoy playing the Silencer, is when you can basically use this like a Braska. The funny part is, you have a decent amount of health in tier 7 at 1100. I mean, the Eagle 7 right there is 1200 HP. I'm only a little bit less. That's pretty dang impressive. So we're going to use that good mobility, 48 km/h top speed, and get right into the front line. And ideally, something is going to try and cross. There we go. We got the M4E2, and there's 1 and 2. Unfortunately, it had to be an M4 FL10. Couldn't have been any other tank that was shooting us, so we actually lost 480 hit points in the process. I'm always hoping, oh, it's a single-shot tank. It'll take 160 HP off me, and it'll be, you know, no big deal. And it's always the autoloader. Always, always, always the autoloader. Well, there's not much you can do about it. It's called bad timing. Well, we got 1 shell into the M4 FL10, and unfortunate. Second shell missed, but that's not too big of a deal. We just back up. We reload. The M4A3E2 is going to die anyway. The Jumbo Sherman. And that right there is why I didn't make any over-aggressions, because there was an unspotted silencer. But we got 1 shell into his tank, and we loaded an HE. Unfortunately, our accuracy is not liking me today. I mean, I'm hitting some pretty, like, decent aimed shots, but my gun is just not really wanting to go where I'm aiming at all today. Alright, we're going to ignore the silencer if we can. We're going to get behind the M4 FL10, and we're going to finish him off very, very quickly. Let's see if we can do that. Bonk, there you go, and bonk. He did take 236 off us, but not the biggest deal ever, as he is dead now. It's not too bad. We are not in a totally winning situation, though, because our heavy went over here, which did not support our team too much in mid, which isn't always the best. Now, we're going to try and get some damage into the enemy Tiger. There's 1 pen into his vehicle for 320, 2 pens into his tank. I mean, that's pretty good. We just took off a very, very decent chunk of that Tiger. And in 8 more seconds, we're going to have another 2 shots. So ideally, we're going to be able to bleed him out quite a bit here. Let's reload. And in 3, 2, 1, there's 1 shell into his tank, and 2 shells. There you go. We just took another very, very decent chunk off of the enemy Tiger. And I am going to try and capture this base if I can. Ideally, it should help out quite a bit. Alright, let's just reload, and now at this point that we do have 2 shells, we can bonk him and finish him off. Okay, pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Our T-20 gets the clear on that player, and I'm just waiting for my camo to reset. Hopefully I'm not spotted at this point. I'm really worried about that smasher that was sitting like right over there. But it looks like we're good. I'm glad I captured the base, because we need that base cap advantage to, you know, beat our opponents on timing here. We got 1 shell into the smasher, and we're going to back up. And he started moving again, which means we can get a 2nd shell into his tank. Again, the gun on the silencer is just incredible. We're already up to 3,800 damage. And really, anybody that makes a misplay just dies for it. So, ideally, there you go. Smasher dies. All that's left at this point is the enemy AMX-M4. And I don't really care. I mean, I'm going to just push in and see if we can find him. I've got plenty of mobility, and I have enough health that I know no matter what gun he's running, he can't kill me. So let's just make our way into the front line here. Oh, we spotted the enemy AMX. He is making a very interesting maneuver. Alright, well, let's just push right up towards his tank and see if we can get some damage out into his vehicular. Now, to be fair, our team is not the healthiest on HP, but with the AMX shooting at my teammate there, that allows me to get one easy pen into his vehicle, and we're going to get to the rear of his tank, and we're going to get an HE for 420 in, dealing us over 4,500 damage at this point. The AMX is just going to drive towards the Eagle 7 still, so we're going to get behind his tank. Here we go, and let's see if we can get one more shell. There you go, 357 high explosive into his rear. So that was a 5,000 damage game. I mean, do I need to really say anything else? This is an overpowered tank, and if you're not doing too well in it, it's not the tank's fault. That's what I'm going to say. We clearly showed that here. I mean, 5,000 damage, we got an ace, we killed 4 vehicles. In a skilled player's hands, this is by far one of the most influential tanks in the game. I mean, look at the team's result. We had 5 people deal less than just about 1,000 combined, and it was really just me and the Eagle 7 that even put out some effort, but it shows just how much of an effort you can put out in this tank. Its DPM is great, its overall alpha damage is incredible for the clip and everything. This is just a ridiculously overpowered vehicle. And as I said in my original video on this tank, this is easily one of the strongest vehicles in the game due to its capabilities. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like this, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.